Welcome to Paranormal Triage, Pursuing the Spiritual Awakening podcast.
Hey, Paranormal Triage here. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're here to talk paranormal again.
Welcome to another Sunday night podcast of Pursuing the Spiritual Awakening. This is going to be a good one. So let's see. We're kind of wrapping up the month with all of our scheduled stuff.
Yep.
We don't have anything super big planned for the next month as far as podcasting, but we'll get some stuff going on. Investigation wise, we're still going through some footage of some of the investigations that we worked on so we can get that content out.
Yeah. And August is kind of our vacations right before school starts. Our kids are homeschooled, but we still do some camping trips here and there. So
we got some stuff planned. So we're taking a little time off in August.
Yeah, we can't make them mad because then they get kind of ornery. So we gotta do something with them. Yeah. So we've been trying some other stuff. We've been trying to do some lives on TikTok, which is kind of new for us. And they're kind of kicking our rear end. We've been dinged twice, and I don't even know why. So apparently on lives, I'm assuming you can't post your own videos, even if you're referencing them. That's all I can think of. So
yeah, we posted a video that she had made. It was completely original content, but they told us it wasn't.
Yeah. So I don't know why we're getting booted. And obviously they don't write you back ever to tell you which community standard you broke. So I don't know where we're going to go with that. We're going to keep trying until they kick us off for good.
Yeah.
But I think it's 3 strikes and you're out, but whatever. It's TikTok. I've never really been a fan, but we do get quite some interesting stuff on there. So it's kind of fun. I don't want to totally discount it, but hopefully we'll get it figured out before they
kind of hitting some of the international audience, because going on late at night here, it's daytime.
Yeah.
We
haven't been
Japan, things like that.
Yeah, we haven't been doing those podcasts or those lives United States time. So that's been kind of interesting, because we did get to bring a guy on from the UK that he wanted to pop in and talk about some of his stuff that he made. And
he made a new app. It's the Growlers Ovulus 2, something like that app. We got it. He sent us some promotional stuff to play with it, check it out, and we're working on it. Not completely convinced yet, like most of the other apps that we've kind of played with, but time will tell.
Yeah, and it's more because we don't do phone apps, so we don't use our phone. So that's I think that's something we're going to talk about tonight. And so we've got a younger paranormal group coming up the pipeline, and I think for us old people, it's we have a little bit of responsibility to bring them to the forefront and not ignore them, because their voices are important. Just because they're new and young, does
showcase the stuff that they're doing, talk with them.
Yeah,
it's important. Yeah.
So anyway,
someone's got to carry on when those old people finally go away.
Yeah, right. Yeah. well, they'll be investigating us, I guess, right? We're going to see if they were really real.
Cool. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to introduce them and bring them on here. So I'm excited.
All right. Let's hope I can do this, because every time I do this, I screw it up. All right. So we're going to do a little intro to them, and then we'll say hello to them.
Paranormal Triage presents Breaking the Veil.
All right. Hey.
Hello.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
We're doing great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, we
Good.
actually just got back from a ghost hunt. It was a lot of fun. We're doing great.
Nice.
Very excited to be here. Very excited to kind of get our first step in the scene, honestly, outside of the stuff we personally do. It's really cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love that intro I did for you. If you actually listen to that with headphones on, it's kind of creepy. My kids won't listen to it because it's so creepy.
Yeah, no, that thing's awesome. It's going to be all over our stuff in the next 3 weeks.
But I didn't know how much stuff was in it until you put some really good headphones on. I'm like, man, that is creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of layers of good stuff in there.
So you guys are breaking the veil. So why don't you just tell us who you are, who your crew is, and how you came up with your name? Because there's a lot of veils out there.
Yeah, there
how you
are.
guys keep yourself
We
separate
actually have a very interesting story about that. So my name's Trenton Mills. I'm the lead investigator and creator of Breaking the Veil. My whole team started under me. I grew up in a haunted house, and that sparked it all in me. And then, as friends came around and you would come and visit the house, we'd hang out and stuff. They would experience paranormal activity, and that's kind of what all of us got introduced to it because of the house I lived at. And next thing you know, I was buying spirit boxes and REM pods, and I was like, guys, let's go do something. Let's get our own evidence. I remember you guys making fun of me because I was telling you all these crazy stories, and you're like, nah, dude, you're just crazy. And then you guys experienced it, and yeah, now I'm not so crazy, So I was like, let's go do something. And then that's kind of how it got started. We were just all really close friends, and I was lucky enough to be born. I've lived in a haunted house since the age of 5. I grew up around it, grew up in it. Like with most things, it was a gift and a curse.
So is your family, did they experience the same things that you have, or was this something just you were experiencing in the house?
No, everybody has their stories, for sure. But I grew up in the Bible Belt, and my family shunned it very heavily, very, very heavily. They were like, we need to get this boy help type stuff. And I was like, no, y'all, this is happening. You've seen it. I've literally heard you tell me your stories, but then turn around and just deny everything, deny. And my curiosity, I was like, no, this stuff is here. And then I would see ghost hunters and ghost adventures on TV and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, no, the whole world experienced this stuff. This ain't just me. And, so I've always just had that curiosity growing up that way. And then Shaylin, she's also my wife. We've been together almost 10 years now, since the age of 13. We've been together.
Oh,
wow. She's always been big into history. That's why we call her our researcher. With most locations, I'll hear about, the classic stories, give it to her, and then she'll just go neck deep in that stuff. I mean, you can't hide anything from her.
No,
So
I've done plenty of research, hours upon hours. I actually kind of grew up a similar way as him. I grew up in a haunted house. I always felt, I never really see anything, but I am a feeler. So I always felt things, and I'd hear things. And my mom, she also experienced those similar things. So when she saw me like a 4-year-old saying these things, she took it very serious, and she took it with open arms and taught me a lot of the things that I do nowadays during our ghost event, or little ghost hunts investigations. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a very open arms, unlike him, unfortunately, and I'm very thankful for that. And I share my appreciation even to my uncle, because he also had his little ghost investigations when I was younger.
So would you consider yourself kind of an empath? You and your mom kind of empathic? I'm an empath, yes. So I mean, it's not a label I throw out very often, but I am.
Me and her both. I mean, we've both considered ourselves empaths. Like growing up, I always felt it. I'm more of a seer though. I'll see it. Like where I'll get like an uneasy feeling. She's over here tripping out. Like, no, we need to leave. But then right after that, I'll see stuff. I mean, I've seen full shadow figures, full body apparitions, not just the classic like out of your eye. Like, I mean, I've as real as you are, like looking at you guys right now, I've witnessed on multiple occasions. So that's where we've always said like she's the feeler and I'm the seer. I will say the more we've gotten into it, and like it's crazy because once you immerse yourself in that world all the time, like we're constantly going out and trying to do stuff like every weekend. And
Yeah. Once you kind of open, once you open that door, it kind of gets real. You know, it can get real, and it really depends. You got to take breaks sometimes too. We take breaks.
Yeah, no, we've already experienced that.
I in fact also almost left the group not even a couple months ago because one of our experiences, and it was really bad. And then I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, "Well, Shaylin, you have these gifts for a reason. Just make sure you protect yourself going forward."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You're right. You're right. I can't not use my gifts. There's a reason why I have them."
Yeah. Yeah. So you have other members on your team.
Yes. So like in the intro, Brennan, I've known that man 12 years. We grew up together, best friends. He was one of the ones who never believed until he started coming over to the house and weird stuff started happening. He witnessed doors shut, the uneasy feelings we'd get. But what made him a believer is we were hanging out one night and he witnessed a shadow person standing outside the door. And to this day, even all the crazy stuff we do now, I've never seen him that scared. And he's like, "No, Trent, like, you're not lying. I've finally witnessed it." Like he was like jumped out of his chairs, tripping out, wanting to go home. Like he's like, "No, I'm done for the night. I'm going home, dude."
Yeah.
And then we got our buddy Wayne. Typically y'all don't see him. He's our cameraman, but he has always been interested in it. He's one of those guys who he's a firm believer, always have been, very interested in it. He's also a history fiend, loves learning the history of a random dirt road that has 3, cemeteries down there. Like, what's the story behind that? He's always been one of those guys. And then we have our other buddy, Ryan. He was kind of one of the original founders also. Me and him got together when I started buying equipment. He started buying equipment, and like we did our very first ever ghost hunt at the King Opera House located in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And he was on that ghost hunt, so we've always considered him like one of the OGs.
Right.
But he's just pretty much the lead investigator also. Typically when we split up into groups, I'll take 2 or 3 people. He'll take the other 2 or 3. And then we have Brennan's girlfriend. She is kind of a floater, honestly, just there to, just co-investigators. What the title I like to put on it, just there for the vibes, there to experience it, But
we have members like that. We have a bigger team, but we don't always. We used to investigate together more, but like you said, some of them are just there for the experience. Not that they're not relevant in what we do, because they are. They're still part of our team, but it's kind of just us now.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So what is your guys's, when you put this group together, because of your experiences, what is your goal with it now? Like, what is your end goal with all this?
So my end goal, like, don't get me wrong, I would love to like travel and like see like all these crazy places, but I personally want to do house calls. That is where our team's morals lie, I guess you could say. We want to help people. Like, I remember going through it and like being shunned away from it. Get this boy in therapy, put him on pills, like literally my whole family being like, "No, you're crazy, kid." And it really affected me. And I want to help other people in that situation to like let them know they're not alone. Like let us come in, let us prove to you as scientifically as we can that these things are here. You're not going crazy. And then based off what we find, we can either, because some people like, we've done house calls and some people like coexisting. Once they realize what's there, they're cool with it. They don't mind coexisting with them. They're like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. You know, it's not a negative thing. It don't affect their life. But we'd also like to go in and like help people get rid of stuff. So that's always been my main goal with the team, and we've all kind of agreed on that. That's always been our main goal, is to help people in like private investigations.
Yeah, that's really cool. Have you guys done any learning training, or do you have any resources that you can rely on to help you with the, you know, cleaning and cleansing of houses? Because that's kind of that takes some experience. That takes a lot.
No, it definitely does.
Yeah.
We've gotten big in the church a little bit, you know, learning from them. I have a Catholic aunt who has taught me a lot of stuff also, but our main source for it currently, because I still don't necessarily feel comfortable. Like, I know the basics, like keep us protected, but a lot of people don't understand the complexity of what goes into actually cleansing somebody's house.
Yeah.
Like, it's not you light sage and crack a window. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that a lot of people don't understand. I mean, these are ancient rituals and stuff like that that have been washed by modern witchcraft on TikTok bullshit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. They think they can light a little bit of sage and it'll go away, and that's just not how it works. So I see what you're saying.
I think it really depends the history of your area. Like, I don't know, you live in Arkansas, right? I don't know the history of Arkansas.
Yeah. So then that's a bigger, that's like a bigger speed bump you got to worry about, right?
Yes,
you know, I mean, because you know, you mentioned, you know, lighting sage and opening a window. In some native cultures, that actually can make it worse.
And you know, that's where everybody who just barely getting into it or not into it at all, they're like, oh, just light some sage, you know. And there's a lot more that goes into it than that. So currently, I would love to actually find a mentor to kind of teach us that stuff. We're just really going off what we've learned. And
it's hard unless you can find someone that can, you know, stand shoulder to shoulder and teach you some of that stuff. We are not by any means experts in any of that stuff either, right? And
and neither are we.
You know, we haven't pushed that. Yeah, we haven't pushed that to that point because we know that there's so many things that you have to do, and you really have to find the right person to mentor you through that. We've got some resources. Like, we've got a friend of ours who's you know, a Navajo, you know, spiritual, you know, he does spiritual battle through the Navajo culture, and he has hey Paul, he has gave us some advice, like with the sage. This is what he told me. It's specific to Navajo, but a lot of other native cultures feel the same way. Like 80% of them feel the same way when it comes to sage, right? If the sage isn't from that specific land, right, it's not going to work. And two, what the, you know, Palo Santo and sage and the whole idea of the smoke is it kind of binds to negative energy to push them out, right? But it can also get rid of stuff that's not negative.
Yeah.
So if there's something that is seeking shelter, for lack of better terms, in a house, right? It's not negative, it's not bad, but something outside of that house wants to get it, right? It's hiding. It could force it out and put it to its, you know, demise out there. So you have to be careful that, you know, there's good spirits that you don't want to get rid of, and that smoke kind of pushes everything if you do it properly. So yeah, you're right about finding a mentor, and that's pretty cool to hear because a lot of people just light stuff and go for it.
And our friend Paul, who just left a comment here, he's their group's Paranormal 24/7, and he's actually a
he studied exorcism, and you know, he's someone that I'm going to pick his brain a little more about learning some of that stuff because
they cleanse houses and stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And you have to, you know, you got to find people like that you can trust. And Paul's one of those guys that I trust wholeheartedly. Whatever he says, I would, you know, as far as how to cleanse and those types of things and dealing with bad or negative spirits, I would trust him. So find somebody to help you learn that stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of where I'm at currently. Like I'm trying to get into the church a little higher, and talk to pastors, and find a way around it. As much as I'll say Bible Belt Christians deny the stuff, once you get up in the church, they will talk to you about it. But on the outside, they don't like talking about it. But yeah,
that's a true statement. Those are facts right there.
No, it is. I grew up here. I know what it's like.
Well, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so I was pretty segregated from other people, and it's it's not really any worse of a religion than your next one that is they're actually very boring. People call it a cult. Sure. I mean, any church that's weird and kind of separates you is kind of culty, I guess you could say. They don't do anything weird. They just have their belief system and kind of separate you from the world. So anything that I experienced when I was little as well, I never talked about it because it would just be like, yeah, you're kind of out of your mind. I think, my parents were divorced later in life. So my mom, she was supportive of all this, which kind of shocked me.
And the crazy thing about religious stuff, and you've experienced it firsthand from living in the, quote unquote Bible Belt. It's amazing how many people just want to jump right to the everything is a demon.
Yep. We've also experienced that a lot.
It's like, okay, so I'm getting something through this SB7. Oh, you're talking to a demon. You're going to go to hell now because God doesn't want you to talk to demons. It's like, well, it's not really the case.
If you read the Bible, the text actually contradicts that, but I won't get into that. Yeah. That's a whole nother rant.
No, I get you completely. And we've done that, and we've been trying to figure out how to have that conversation, amongst, the paranormal community through podcasting, whatever, just doing lives, because, our journey is kind of, I don't want to say clouded or shrouded in biblical sense, but, it's not just like one day we woke up and it's like, you know what, we want to go ghost hunting. It actually means something. And it's personal. Like you growing up in a haunted location, it's personal. It's not just like, oh, I watched Ghost Adventures one day and said, you know what, I'm going to go buy all this stuff and go hunt for ghosts. It's actually paranormal investigating, which is different than ghost hunting. What are your thoughts about that? How do you feel about it when people say, oh, I'm a ghost hunter versus I'm an investigator?
I think we have way too many ghost hunters in this community.
I agree.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. I've talked to a lot of other teams. We were a part of a team out of Oklahoma for a little bit while when I was first starting to get our team together. And man, they're just gatekeepers. I can't think of a better word. They're just gatekeepers and egotistical people. And it's like, this should be a scientific field in my mind. Like I'm not, this ain't a Hollywood dramatic YouTube bullshit. I don't know if I can cuss in here, but I get passionate.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to be good. I'm a sailor, so don't.
Yeah,
you can't afford
to
it's like, I don't know. I'll see, people doing that stuff, or like I've talked to teams who are like, oh, the best way to ghost hunt is just to go and sit in a quiet, dark room with nothing and just let your senses do it, which is cool. But at least turn on an EVP, please. At least, pop on an EMF. What's it gonna hurt? It's like we're trying to. For me, it's like I'm trying to find ways to improve the field. Help guide the field,
and gather evidence.
You see so many teams out here just doing the same exact stuff or doing stuff that really has no value to us at all. As a community. So that's
there's some teams out there that just kind of ruin it, both on the younger end of the teams and even on the older side of the teams, or mid-age, whatever. They I don't like to say names because I don't like to dog on people, but they get too dramatic, and it's like, you're kind of ruining it for people that really want to do it because it's more entertainment for them than it is, and making money. We're not monetized. Although we did make 11 cents on TikTok and unknowingly.
Heck yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with wanting to monetize your content,
No,
but
no.
it's about doing it for the right reasons,
Yeah.
right? If people
Mhm.
are going out there and doing all of this, making this content because they want to become famous, they want to follow in the footsteps of some of the famous people on, major network TV. Um, okay, but that's not that's for that reason, right?
Yeah.
Paranormal investigators should be doing it to investigate the paranormal. And then
Yeah.
if you happen to get lucky and make money off of it, great, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, I'm
no.
not saying that all those teams that were out there on the network TV were bad, right? And without some of that mainstream stuff happening, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation today,
No, I
right? So there's a
completely agree with you.
there's a place for that stuff, and finding that middle ground. So I'm super awesome to hear that you guys want to kind of make it more of a scientific process and believe that, because those are the types of teams that we really need to showcase and talk to each other, because that's what we need to keep promoting.
And to keep this the real
I-
side going, the real side of this,
Yeah, let's.
you guys
Yeah.
seem to be very well rounded and pretty grounded, so that's kind of unusual. Not knocking your age, but I was your age one time. I'm only like
Yeah.
10 years
Yeah.
older than you, wink. But it's nice to see younger people grounded, and we live in California, so I mean that's a whole.
Yeah, we're inundated with the Hollywood side of things, although we don't live in that part of California. We live way far away from it. But, the perception of California is that everything is, the beach in Hollywood, when it's not. And it's hard to get away from that. So just like you guys kind of have to battle the Bible Belt, our team has to battle the Hollywoodization
Yeah.
of
Hollywood-esque.
of paranormal. So everyone's got their own thing. So that's pretty cool that you guys feel that way. So if you're going into a location, obviously it sounds like, you're really into the history as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's the process? Kind of give me a quick little synopsis of your process about preparing. So you guys just did an investigation. Where'd you go and how'd you prepare and what'd you do?
Well, I mean, every location's different, obviously. But pretty much typically what will happen is we'll find folklore on something, or I'll come across folklore on something, and then I'll look into it a little bit. I'm like, oh, that would be cool. That, that sounds like it could be a good place to go ghost hunt, and then I'll give it to her and she'll give me the entire freaking history from 700 AD to 2026. And and then I'm like, okay, no, yeah, that's awesome. That, and I kind of just look for the classic things of what could cause hauntings. Stuff, death obviously is like the main one. Tragic events that cause residual hauntings. And then we're just like, yeah, let's go. I mean, if somebody died there, I hate to make it so basic, but I'm want to go to every location. It's like one of those things where we've witnessed going to like this huge infamous, like the Crescent Hotel. We live an hour from the Crescent Hotel. We've been there. I grew up around that place. Like I've been there more times than I can count. But I'll go to some random cemetery in the middle of the woods that nobody's ever heard of and get stuff that would make Zach Bagan shit his pants,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those things where I'm not going to bash it just because it don't have that crazy, oh my God, cancer doctor history. I mean, if somebody died there or something tragic happened there, that's all it really takes for our team. Yeah, I mean.
So typically how I do my research, obviously I go with the basic Google. Obviously, that's where I start to get the basic line of everything. And then I go on like page 10 of Google, seeing if there's anything else relevant. And then I end up going myself to Reddit, seeing other people's stories of if they so happen to be on that specific.
Twitter is a good one too.
Yeah, Twitter. If they've ever been that specific land or property before and they experience something, then I'll write that down or write down a synopsis of what happened on that land. And if it's a cemetery, I go on to findagrave.com and then I read almost every person that was buried there and their history there. And then I
like that site. The Find a Grave's kind of
that's a
interesting.
cool website. Yeah, we've scoured that.
So do you guys have a local historical society there? Do you guys
We do.
go to any of those places? Are they pretty open to give you guys information?
No, not really.
Somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes you'll find that cool person, but like I said, growing up in the Bible Belt, man, a lot of people will shun you instantly, or
Yeah.
say you to get help, son. There's a demon attached to you. Well, that's what we run into. And another thing is, we're from Northwest Arkansas, so Walmart was born here, and it's very hard to find history on anything that is, murders or cold cases, or I mean, there's been a few nights like we've had to like wipe her laptop because we ended up on the black web looking up cold cases, like weird stuff like that. Like you'll be on page 20 of Google before you even figure out her last name of that cold case. Arkansas is really bad at covering up stuff. So, and
we could barely get out of the 1800s. So our area is kind of stuck in the 1800s. We wanted to go older than that, but it's really hard. You don't have a whole lot of records. You don't, you're almost stuck. You're almost stuck in this specific era of time. And I don't know why it's a weird.
All I could say is like, keep up with the historical societies, because eventually you'll find that one person that will help you. We got really lucky with our local historical society because they just were okay with all of it. We're into it enough to the point to where they've kind of brought us on and had us do some events for them that are paranormal related events.
But we have to kind of check ourselves too and make sure we check them, because they do these events every year, and it's not just because they're interested in the paranormal. It makes them money. So we've found a way to be involved and keep it real. So we now have a dedicated spot. Whether they bring us back again this year, we'll see. But now we have a dedicated spot so we can actually talk about the real stuff, and it not just be like, oh, we're doing the Halloween event tonight, and this little investigation is just part of it. Because the first time we did it, we were like walking to 5 different buildings in the same 4 hours trying to explain what we do and how we do it and do these little mini investigations. And I didn't lose any weight, gosh darn it, but it was exhausting.
That sounds exhausting.
So it was nice to get the dedicated place. So you still gotta find that balance of, are they just in this for the money, or do they want us here because they really want to know about it? But then it's kind of interesting because here people are kind of closed-minded. It's not that easy to get people to let us investigate. But then after they're around us or they start listening, they'll start meandering up to us, and then they start telling us their stories, and then the real truth comes out, and then they get a little bit more comfortable with it. But
how's it there with as far as finding places to go? So you find some lore, you read on it, you do the history, you go through all of the searching through all your internet databases and all that, and you're like, okay, we got to go to this place. Is it like closed off, or is it hard to get into places?
Currently and recently, no, not really. I mean, a lot of the places we go to are a half a mile down a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we live in the country. Unless people actively see you out there or something like that, it's not like you're not going to get the cops called. Like, there's very open space, I should say. Even if we don't really condone it, but even if you were to trespass around here, the odds of you getting caught are very slim. So no, we haven't really ran into that roadblock.
Okay.
And if we have, it's like big corporations, like old abandoned places is mainly the main thing.
Yeah.
But no, luckily we haven't really ran into that roadblock as of now.
That's good. Yeah, we only get in trouble when we post stuff. So I think we really like cemeteries. That's like a history book, when you walk into the cemetery. And we have a few cemeteries here that are Native American families, and we kind of had to take one of our videos down. It wasn't because we blasted their stuff everywhere. It was very short, but they recognized the trail. So just out of respect to that family, it was like they weren't even really direct family. They were indirect, but at the end of the day, we have to be respectful to people's wishes.
Absolutely. We've had a few incidents. We had one incident like that, if I recall.
It
It was a settlement family.
Yeah,
I
actually,
felt so bad.
yeah, we investigated a cemetery called Doug Hill, and when they found out we were there, they got us kicked out of two of our most best spots we went to. We had a place called Beaver Cemetery, had a lot of poltergeist activity out there.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I was trying to remember the name of that because I have some of your footage I want to pull up. I don't know if it's this specific cemetery, but so you guys had some like rock throwing type stuff happen to you guys. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, and honestly, that was like our first location as a team.
We found it.
We
on
found
accident.
it on a whim. It was kind of like one of those just coincidences that you later look back on and you're like, that was meant to be. You know, we were out yard selling, you know, running around, you know, yard selling, just having a good time. My GPS messed up and took us down a random dirt road, and the turnaround it took us to was the cemetery, like literally like a mile down a dirt road. There's one little turnoff. You pull up there, and there's just a cemetery in the middle of the woods.
May I add, I had to convince him to take that driveway into the cemetery because I was curious what was down there.
Well, cemeteries are cool, but they're scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
see it because I was looking the other way, and he's like, "Babe, that's a cemetery." I'm like, "No, it's not." And then I turn around, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we need to get out of here."
Yeah, I looked over and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a cemetery." And then I was like, that weekend we went back ghost hunting, and we were out there. It was kind of like beginning of winter, you know, all the trees were dead and stuff. But we went out there and really didn't get a whole lot. But I was like, no, I just had a feeling about that place. I was like, something's here. We just got to be here long enough to experience it. And then we went out the second night, 2 nights in a row, and all we heard was this big thump behind us. And we were like, what? And we turned on the flashlights. We're all looking around. I got a thermal camera, all scanning around because we thought, you know, maybe some old rednecks were out there or something messing with us. And we couldn't pick up nobody on thermal. And as we're kind of flipping out about that, we heard another one now coming from the way we were just facing. And because we spun around, another one. And we were like, what the hell is that? And I was like, guys, I think something's like messing with us, you know, like leading into the paranormal, because I'm a big paranormal guy. I love the whole debunking thing, but I'm a big paranormal guy. So I'm like, dude, I think something's going on. And I was like, kill all the lights. Killed all the lights, and we're sitting there. And we thought we heard some walking going on. And then once again, we heard, and you could hear it roll, actually. You could hear it contact, and it sounded like leaves, like something was rolling in the leaves. And we kicked everything back on. And as I kicked everything back on, I watched a rock come up over the fence, hit the ground, and roll. Physically watched this thing fly through the air, roll. And I was freaking out, and I was like, Brendan, get the thermal. And he got the thermal in the area we had just saw it come from. We went over there. We had gone outside the fence. We were looking around, couldn't find nobody. And then, you know, we were obviously losing our minds about it. I've never experienced nothing like that. And then it became the common occurrence out there. Almost every time we go, that's what happens. It's
so do you know that what's the history that you said it was a settlement? Is that the same cemetery? The settlement cemetery is this?
That was a different one, but this one basically was also. It was a church cemetery in the, I want to say, late 1700s, early 1800s, or no, late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, because the last burial was 1916, I believe, and the first burial was 1906. There are over 50 people buried there, and not much history either, but I'm pretty
it's just an unmarked. It's an unmarked cemetery. No signs. No nothing.
Yeah. No, nothing.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, also, that's what I was wanting to mention. It was a year. The cemetery was built in a year before the town was built, like known. So
it
was founded.
It's
That's the wording I was using.
Kind of before they were put on the map. So
it was actually completely lost until 2021, and a hunter had stumbled upon a gravestone out there, and the Historic Society came in and revealed 20 graves out there.
So, and you guys keep going back to there, or you don't go there anymore?
We loved that place, but we got kicked out. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got banned from that place.
Yeah.
Because of the other settlement. They found out who we were, what we were doing. They're like, yeah, we don't want you out there. And they wanted me, they were trying to like get us for trespassing, but they couldn't. So in Arkansas,
when it's not marked or posted,
Yeah, in Arkansas, they have to do their own hours, and they didn't. Online, like it showed they had no hours, and they didn't have nothing posted. So they went out and hung up signs and stuff.
Okay, so yeah. So is that the footage you think from?
No, okay. So I'm gonna pull up. Hopefully, I do this right because I'm not used to doing all this stuff. I'm gonna. This is a picture of a cemetery you guys were at, and it's pretty impressive. I have some questions about it. So let me see if I can add this. That one. That's not the close up.
Okay, right. Yeah. So this was Beavers. This was Beaver Cemetery.
Okay.
This was the first night we were there.
Okay.
Y'all see it, or do I?
Okay, I'll tell you what I see before you explain it. So, a lot of people will come in because your camera is blurry. They're gonna want to just dog on you for that right out the gate.
Try to tear you apart because of it.
But I see more here than So you got all these little markers, right? They all look like little crosses.
These are all graves.
Okay, so is what we see is almost like it looks animal-like to me, coming over what looks like maybe a bench or a berm. And I want to say the face. The face is pretty predominant, but I'm thinking that there is a cross right there, but that doesn't discount the rest of what you're seeing. We see an arm, another arm. I see what I think is a leg right here, and just a very big kind of torso coming over whatever that is. I don't know if it's a bench or just a berm of grass or whatever. So that's what I see.
Yeah, I see this similar there. When you see the tree, when you look to the right of the tree, you can definitely tell that there is an anomaly that's been captured.
Yeah.
And right out front, it almost to me looks like maybe like a right arm or something that just kind of comes around with even like a hand on it. And then, you've got kind of a misty, blurry kind of body with, almost like some kind of weird creature that's got 4 legs and kind of moving along over the top of what appears to be another one of those grave markers.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So that's what we see. I'm not saying that we're the most experienced people in looking at this stuff, but it's obviously something that was captured that's not supposed to be there. It's not. You can rule out it's not your camera, right? You can rule out it's not a weird lighting issue. It's not a person. So it's not intentional. That is absolutely a paranormal capture.
Yeah.
So how do you guys interpret that?
So here's the cool part about this photo. This photo was taken in complete darkness. There were no lights on. Nobody had a light on. This is Samsung's new night vision, night mode.
Okay. Wow.
It uses no flash. At the time this was taken, there were no headlamps on. We were sitting in complete darkness. I know it looks like there is, but this was shot in complete darkness. I want to put that out there because everybody, the whole lighting thing. There was no light on when this picture was taken.
Okay. I'm going to add a close up here while you guys are talking there.
Yeah, and that face. That's what we originally witnessed. And it just stood out to me. I was going through all of our photos that night, and it just instantly popped out to me, and I was like, what the hell is that? And
so you didn't really see this until you got home, obviously. So I guess it would be hard to say, was there a cross sitting there, and is that a bench that he's coming over, or is that a dead tree, or is that, what is that?
Honestly, I'm not sure what caused that. There was no bench next to that tree. There is nothing there that could cause that long line, that white line you guys were seeing. That's just the light, I guess. Even though there was no light on, that's just how the camera picked it up. I don't know.
There was no marker beside that tree either. It was a complete clearing of grass right there.
Yeah. So an important thing to know about that cemetery is it's not like traditional where they're all like laid out. It's like you'll have 10 groups here, and then you'll walk halfway across, and there'll be 10 more little cluster over here. So they're like clustered out. So there's like big spaces between all the graves.
Right.
We went back and looked in that same location where we estimated that face was captured, and there was nothing there. And
Yeah,
to this
you
day,
can
I don't
definitely
have words.
see. You can definitely see two eye holes.
Yeah,
as
you
my
can see
kids
the
would
eye
say.
sockets. You can see almost
Yeah.
like a messed up mouth, and then
Yeah.
like it almost look like it's got like almost like bunny ears or maybe like horns or something.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that makes me think that it's not a cross is it's kind of broken up right here, like little whiskers to the right. I don't know if you can see my
Yeah.
pointer, but if you can, it's just right there. Looks like a little,
Yeah.
almost whiskery type.
Yeah, I see
thing.
that.
So yeah, I mean, you definitely captured something. I would have to argue with people that want to try to debunk it because it's got shape.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
and like I was saying, I was scrolling through the photos, and as like the moment I flipped over to this one, it just instantly caught my eye. It like popped out at you. I was
Yeah,
like, "What the hell?"
yeah.
And
It's
then I
kind of
tell
funny.
people
Yeah,
that
go
this
ahead.
was shot in complete darkness, and they're like, "What?" Like
Yeah,
no
and
light.
some people are going to be impossible to convince, but like,
Yeah,
you know, when you
that's
explain to them the technology of the camera, you know, it's easier for people to believe that. So my question is, do you remember roughly when during the investigation when you snapped the pictures, do you remember if there was any other activity happening, or did this line up and make sense, or was it just a complete random catch?
Or did you guys have any feelings? I mean, were you guys all like feeling weird or
Um,
anything?
Yeah.
This was the end of the investigation. We were actually leaving. And
okay.
that night we had heard voices. I actually capture a light orb also. It's up on the Facebook somewhere, but a giant light orb that night, same night.
Is
We had rock-
that the long stringy one?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't really want to bring that one up because I was kind of thinking that could have been camera drag, like
But now knowing that, was
Right.
that one taken with the same Samsung camera?
Same
Yeah.
phone. Pitch black.
So
There
that
was no
means
light
there's
on it.
no flash, there's no light. So that
Yeah.
might be that
because
plays
I know what
different.
people are going to argue. They're going to say you captured some kind of insect, and because the pictures were a little bit off focus, that you drug the camera lens, and that's what made that look.
Yeah, I could see
That made that stream of light. But nobody's there. They're not you. They're not taking
Yeah.
those pictures, and unless you're that kind of team that likes to be exaggerated and all that. You guys seem pretty grounded.
No.
So
Yeah,
I
we
would
don't-
have a
we
hard
don't
time
do that.
wanting to argue about that.
Yeah, and now that I know that it was, that camera has a technology that's a little bit different, it's harder to rule that out as a camera, malfunction.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it makes it more
yeah.
plausible to be a paranormal event. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
if
like-
it was the blurriness, you had all kinds of opportunity in this photo
To do
where there
anything.
was other blurry spots of the camera that didn't have shape. You could tell that it's I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. Kind of distorts the color
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
just the photo itself. So yeah, this was I said that's pretty impressive.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
catch.
It's kind
That
of
is still-
we got a photo at a cemetery. It was actually in the daytime, and we were getting ready to do a night thing with this guy that does a cemetery walk, and we had taken a picture at the back of our car. And we get home and there's like this face imprint on the window, and we're like, oh my god, what is that? And we were like freaking out, and I tore that picture up. We finally realized that it was my grandson's face, but but right below it, I'm going to drop it here in the next couple days because I haven't showed it in a while. But right below there, that his face that we finally figured out was him, there's actually somebody's face. And that was like, it didn't match any of us. And there was only 3 of us standing there, and it looks nothing
so
like any of us.
It's crazy. The imprint of his, and now mind you, grandson is 13, right? So it's not like he's a little kid, right? So you can clearly see that he's got his nose smushed up against the glass.
Yeah, almost looked a
window.
little inappropriate. So
Yeah, but then we're like, okay, once we kind of debunked that shape, then you actually look into like deeper, like the next layer, and there's a face inside it.
yeah,
So it's almost like whatever was trying to use, they were using that as their opportunity to have their image.
or their presence being known. Yeah,
Yeah, the presence being known. Put it inside that other image.
Oh
Which
my
was kinda
goodness.
cool.
Yeah, and, I've heard a lot of stories of that way. They're looking for like portals to be able
Mhm.
to show themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have another. That's probably one of my favorite photo captures. I have one more though that I'll send you guys after all this.
I
We-
know it's a portal.
Yeah, we have. I can't describe it to y'all any other way. We have captured literally what looks like a portal opening up on camera. Keep in mind, when I send it to y'all later, same exact camera that one was taken with. At night, there was a little bit of light because we were in a car and the headlights were off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll send it to y'all. It was over the Pea Ridge Battlefield. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that place.
Not familiar with it, no.
It was a very big battle in the Civil War. We captured it over the field that they would have actually fought in. I literally can't describe it any other way other than it literally looks like a portal is being opened and you can like see people's faces inside of it. I'll send it to you guys.
It sounds crazy, but it's
insane.
It's not crazy.
You guys can like post it, do whatever you guys want with it. I love that photo.
I mean, we've lived in a couple haunted houses, not only together but separately. So the house we currently live in it's a modern house. It has no back history except it's just more modern.
Well, the land itself.
But the land itself is very Native American, and you know, people will argue that too, that you always want to blame it on the land. Well, you have to take that into consideration, because when you're talking about Native American land and it's very you got a lot of cemeteries that were probably built over, you know, so there's a lot here. So we believe there's a gateway, and we've been told that there's a gateway in our house because it's intermittently fairly active. We've just learned to live with it.
Yeah, we've had similar circumstances at our old house as well, and I always blamed it. I'm like, oh well, the Trail of Tears does come through here. It would only make sense why my house that was built in like 2011 is haunted.
Yeah,
and even like our recent house call, we've been there before. It's called the Portal House. For people who have followed us, they live in the middle of town. I mean, there's really you never look at that place and be like, oh, it's haunted.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it's very extremely haunted. We do know that the neighbors used to practice like really bad witchcraft. So I believe that that's what caused it. But
that could be the downfall of house calls of doing private houses, because we've done more private houses.
Yeah.
And you don't know what they've done or what the neighbor has done. You know, it's like when we moved into this house, we didn't know somebody basically passed away in this house right before we moved in. So, you know, we're pretty sure we've heard her voice before in the hallway where she
absolutely.
She coded, and she's probably still here. Every once in a while we hear that woman's voice, but
and we never would have known that happened because it wasn't disclosed to us. But you know, we're first responders, and the fire department I work for, you know, it's the one that responded to her. So like when my colleagues were telling me, you know, it was long before I ever worked for that department, but they're like, oh yeah, we went, and this, you know, she basically died in the hallway there. So it's like, I never would have known. And it makes sense because of the activity we're having. Because we're, you know, when you start experiencing stuff, you're trying to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, what's going on here? And we've got all sorts of other things happening in our house for other reasons. So it's like it wasn't really connecting to those dots, right? But then once we found out, okay, it did. So
and we live in an area where there's just layers and layers of history. You know, it was a very commonly traveled trail, for lack of better words. You know, where this is one of the biggest gold mining areas. One of the biggest Native American areas. You know, California was all Native American, and you know, kind of came about through land grants through Mexico, I guess.
Mexico.
So it has layers upon layers. So who knows what we've built on and what we're all sitting on now. I don't know if Arkansas is like that, because it sounds like it's pretty small, but you still have layers. Of history there.
I feel like Arkansas is going to have some crazy layers because you've got Civil War stuff happening there.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes back.
Civil War, Trail of Tears. Actually, where we're from, there's a lot of corrupt government stuff you can get into where they literally built. I know a whole city we can go to where all under the city they literally built tunnels to fucking smuggle drugs and like politics. Like it gets deep, but Arkansas likes to hide that stuff. It's very hard to find.
We also had outlaws coming through here too.
Jesse James, literally Jesse James. One of his final resting places was like 20 minutes from us.
Didn't Bonnie and Clyde?
Bonnie and Clyde was stayed here and then went up to Joplin, Missouri, that area.
Well, I
once
mean,
again.
as far as geographical location, when you look at the continental United States on a map, I mean, it's centrally located. So it's like if you're going from east to west coast, west
Yep.
to east coast, you're trying to get to Canada, right? Trying to get back down. I mean, it's kind of central.
Yeah.
So,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, we have a
That's
lot of
cool.
old trails that ran through us all the way from, Louisiana all the way to California, the top of California, from Texas all the way to Maine, just like you're saying. Yeah, we have a lot of history, for sure.
So how do
Especially here in
you?
the northern part.
So to get a little off topic, off of ghosts, how do you feel about aliens and Bigfoot?
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
I've actually seen Bigfoot.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Have you heard him?
I have not. I've heard tree knocks that I believe was him,
Okay.
but I have not heard him.
I have
Right.
100% heard the howl, scream, whatever you want to call it, when I was camping several years ago with the kids, and I will never forget that sound.
Yeah.
And it's undescribable. I cannot describe it. I've been able to scour the internet and find stuff that sounds close to it, but not actually what I heard. But it's like the second I heard it, and it woke me up from a deep sleep. The second I heard it, I knew instantly that was a Bigfoot. So I believe in it completely.
Yeah, I seen him when I was little, like 13. We were out fishing one morning, like all the good stories go.
Yeah.
And it was me and my stepfather at the time. We were down fishing. Just got there, unpacking stuff. 6 o'clock in the morning. Sun comes up at 7:30. Can't even see yet. And where we were fishing is below a dam. So occasionally the sirens would go off and that whole place would flood. Well, it was one of those mornings. We just got there, got our poles in the water, and we're sitting there chilling, and we hear the sirens go off. And we're like, okay. So we start packing up. And between each siren is about like 5 minutes, and then they'll play another one, and then 5 minutes, and then they'll play the last one before they let the water go. And we're sitting down there. First one goes off. We start packing our stuff up. And then the coyotes, dude, this is what gets me. The coyotes started going crazy, dude. I mean, we're like on a little island. And off to this side, coyotes going in front of us, to the side of us, behind us, just coyotes everywhere. They just came alive. And we're like, well, I grew up in the South. we were never really scared of coyotes. We're like, all right, whatever. Second siren went off. Coyotes are still yapping through it. And about that time, everything went silent, dude. Coyotes, there were no birds chirping. Like, it just got super eerie. Almost like that feeling you kind of get on ghost hunts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got that feeling. And the coyotes, it was like the flip of a switch. They just stopped. And we were like, that was eerie. Finished grabbing all our stuff, and I remember my father at the time, he picked up our spotlight and started panning the bank line across from us. And he pans in front of us, and in front of us is like a little, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but there was a piece of land in front of us. And he picks it up, and all we see is this, what we thought was a black bear, because we ran into black bears down there a few times.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell? And he's like, hey, get your stuff. Like, there's a bear out here. Let's get back to the car. And about that time, the third siren went off. Wah, wah, and that thing stood up, dude. And I will never forget how tall, and the fact, like, there was no hair on its face. Just like, everybody talks about very long, shaggy hair. And I don't know, man. It messed me up for years. Like, I never went back to that. It took me till last year to go back to that spot, because I just genuinely terrified me as a child.
Yeah. You have to look up the drunken cryptids. They're really into. They do. Does he live in Arkansas?
Yes.
Yeah, they live in Arkansas, and they do all kinds of investigating around there. You should look him up and tell him your story. Yeah, it's the drunken cryptids. So
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, definitely. We've ran into a few things that were like, this doesn't seem more paranormal. This seems more like cryptid to us. I'm like, I signed up to be a ghost investigator.
Anytime we're into the paranormal, in our opinion, anything that's just different is paranormal. So we consider cryptids to be paranormal as well. It doesn't have to. Paranormal doesn't necessarily have to be a spirit or a ghost, or however you want to label that.
A little backstory on us, how we Paranormal Triage, we named it this way because we're first responders, right? Fire and ambulance world. So triage is the French word to sort, right? That's what people do when there's big mass casualty stuff. They sort out all of the casualties, right? So in paranormal, our English language is full of Latin, Greek, things that we didn't make up our own language. We stole it from everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. So, but
Yeah,
para
yeah,
is the Latin root word, which means next to or the side of. Right. So paralegal, that is not an attorney. They're just next to it. Right. Paramedic, next to being a doctor. Right. So paranormal is anything that's just next to normal or just outside of the realm of normal. So that could be spiritual related. That could be, demon. That could be biblically angelic. That could be Bigfoot. That could be aliens. That could be giants. All of it is just outside of what the mainstream would consider normal, right? So all of it is paranormal.
Okay.
And that's the way we look at it.
That's comforting.
Here recently, our eyes have opened up to that. Because like originally when we founded the group, we were ghost hunters,
Yeah.
I had my experience with Bigfoot a long time ago, but it really was never on the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
And then we had some stuff that happened while out ghost hunting, and we're like, wait, time out. I don't think that was a ghost. And so our minds have slowly been coming around to doing it all.
Would you ever consider going and actually doing a Bigfoot hunt?
Yes, actually, I'm currently working with somebody to go out. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. The Ozark Howler.
Mm-mm.
You ever heard of that? It's like a big mythical cat that we have out here in the Ozarks, and he's been folklore for a long time. I'm working with the trucker who supposedly saw him, and I'm supposed to go meet up with him and get where the exact spot, and we're going to go do a video out there. But yeah, I'd love, we're starting to, do both.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I believe that, like I said, whether it's spiritual, whether it's cryptid, alien, whatever, the energy has to be there, right? So energy, it doesn't go away, right? It can be manipulated, right? But what the same energy that causes a spirit to be able to show itself in a picture you take or talk through an SB7 potentially is the same energy that Sasquatch is using to move around, or that that cat, or the chupacabra, mothman, whatever folklore you want to call it. All that energy is still there, and in my opinion, it's all connected, cousins, second cousins, whatever you want to call it, to ghost spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with you, dude. That's pretty spot on with how I think about it personally too. I don't think Bigfoot's some lost humanoid who we haven't found in from us. I think more than likely he is the physical manifestation of a paranormal being, to put it in simple terms.
I have to check out the Book of Enoch.
Yeah. So we're kind of going in a bunch of different directions, but what is your generalized idea, your team, about where we go when we die?
It gets different. We all grew up, well, minus her, but we all grew up in the Bible Belt, and a part of me wants there to be a God. And a lot of my team shares the same feelings I do. So we've always tried to figure out where this paranormal stuff lies with the acclaimed mainstream God, and it's hard to believe for sure. So we know we go somewhere, but we're still in the journey of figuring out where we think we go.
So I'm a big fan of this guy named Timothy Alberino. Ryan probably gets sick of hearing that name. Timothy Alberino quit school at 17. He went to Peru, just didn't like school, so he went there, did all his studies, lived in the jungle with jungle people, for lack of better words, and in those places that had no technology. And he's a Christian at heart, believes in God. My advice is hang on to that. Don't forget that God, there is a God, but that's just my advice. But he's got a lot of interesting theories and stories and his belief system might align kind of with what you guys are doing. So I would say go check out some of his videos. It's Timothy Alberino.
I'll tell you, when I started looking into that stuff, because I grew up within that religious box of Catholicism, and then I gave it up when I realized that the Catholic Church was protecting pedophiles. So I didn't want to believe anymore, right? It was really hard for me to go, okay, well, I'm just listen to whatever you say and think it's good when you guys are doing all this crazy bad stuff. So, but this paranormal journey, there's obviously something out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
And we go somewhere. Our energy goes somewhere. So when I started really studying into people like Timothy Alberino and then reading through parts of the Bible, I realized that, that Bible is a giant book of supernatural events
Yep.
and paranormal encounters that people had.
Yep.
Right. And then I do believe that there is a God, but I don't think that the standard mainstream, churches want to really dig into truly all of the real truth, because then it'll kind of mess up what they got going on. Right. So, I mean, we are on the mindset, it's called Christocentric. Basically, you believe in God as kind of the center of the universe, and then all the other paranormal stuff that's happening, there's a place for it. The energy is there. It's happening for a reason. And that's the journey to go on.
Yeah.
Find it, document it, capture it, and then see what that means to you, because your spiritual journey is different than mine, and mine's different than Brenda's.
Yeah.
And that when I started thinking about that, man, I became so much more open-minded, and I started actually experiencing and seeing more paranormal stuff. I never considered myself an empath. I still don't, but sensitive enough now, because I'm so much more open-minded to all of these different things, that I experience things more than I ever did before. So that would be advice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate that. I could line up with that for sure.
Yeah, so there's also some kind of the rumor mill out there about AI and the younger investigators coming up. How do you guys feel about the interface between AI and old school investigating? Like I said, you guys seem pretty grounded. I kind of thought maybe you guys were more phone app users, but now that you've talked about all your equipment, you're not just phone app users.
Which is finally got a chance between all of our busy schedule to go back and watch more of your stuff, because you guys got a lot of shorts and stuff. Where you kind of point out some of your equipment.
Of stuff that's coming out too, man. I got like 10 videos on the back burner, but
yeah. So how are you putting that together and putting, editing it and doing that types of stuff in order to stay true to showcasing the paranormal activity?
Yeah, because I think the old school people are kind of worried that AI is going to, well, just like anybody's worried that technology and AI is just going to kick out everything and nothing's going to be really real anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Trenton were just talking about that earlier today.
Yeah, we were.
So it's funny you guys brought that up.
So pretty much, I do think there should be a genuine concern. I think especially in the paranormal community, there's a lot of ghost hunters out here who use that stuff. But in my opinion, it's just like with most of our equipment, like you run the spirit box. Sometimes it's radio frequency that comes through. It's not all 100% voices. Like you have to be wary of that. And as an investigator, take the responsibility to decipher it and learn your device. It's not a guaranteed thing to happen and work every time. You have to learn your stuff. I think AI can be good for us if we start using it for the right reasons. But I think from what I've seen, a lot of people are using it for the wrong reasons, and we need to step away from that. And
yeah, I'm very anti-AI, but in saying that, I'm self-taught with my editing. So, but everything I make, these little intros and stuff, I just do it because I like to be creative. I don't drop it into AI and let them make it for me. Now, do I use clips and stuff like that? Yeah. I don't know if that's really considered AI, but the only thing I really use AI for is maybe to make me sound a little smarter in my narrative.
Yeah.
But as far as
there's definitely benefits for it, but when your whole channel is AI
and abusing AI,
and you're abusing it, and
I think it destroys creativity for sure and imagination.
Yeah. That's how I feel
if I
about
were
it.
making AI generated shirt for merch, right? And and that thing looked nothing like the shirt. Like that's an issue, you know. And I feel like a lot of people are hiding behind that and trying to step into a realm of creativity and paranormal things that changes people's lives. Like it's not. For some people it's a hobby. For me, I feel much deeper about it. This is a lifestyle. We've brought stuff home with us on investigations by accident, and it changes your life. I've had several attachments, and it's sucks to see people out here just clout chasing, I guess, because they can type in 2 words and get exactly where you're at or exactly where I'm at with the progress and on our journey, when really you're not, you know?
Yeah. It's taken us several years to get to this point, you know, and working hard and dealing with your personal lives and still trying to do paranormal. And for someone to just come in and spend 30 minutes running through an AI engine to do the same thing we're doing, it's kind of unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. It really is. I mean, just like with everything nowadays, it's supposed to be a passion, a hobby, especially with the internet, you know, like if you're not passionate about it, why are you doing it, dude? At that point, you're just clout chasing.
Yeah, they've kind of a lot of people are just trying to commercialize paranormal. It's kind of funny because I do hair too as well. So I like your hair color, by the way.
Thank you.
You changed it. I went into the beauty supply and they have ghost shampoo now. I'm like, what? So I had to buy it because it said ghost. But it's like, how funny that there's so much trying to commercialize it. You know, kids can buy Ouija boards for Christmas. And we do talk to parents about that a lot when we do these events at Halloween. Like that's kind of our platform to not only share our journey, but to educate parents. So it's just kind of funny how much, you know, they have a ghost drink now, a ghost energy drink. It just seems to be, they're trying to make a profit off it now.
More and more mainstream just to talk about ghost and paranormal stuff, but we have to keep it grounded. I'm glad you guys you're doing it the right way. So right on you for that. That's awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate that for sure.
When it comes to your equipment, though, is there like specific go-to equipment that you like, or you know, stuff that you've bought and you're just like, I'm not doing that anymore. It wasn't worth it.
Personally, I love the portal. The portal you hook up with the SB7. That's probably one of my favorite devices. The cat balls are cool. It's always crazy to watch one of them light up, and you know for a fact they shouldn't be.
We like cat balls. We have friends on our they're our internet friends. They don't like cat balls, but that's okay.
Why?
You know, we like them. You know, you guys.
I think his thing is his whole thing is he's a debunker. He is an investigator, but he likes to point out people that are doing, which is good because it's holding everybody accountable.
No, for sure.
But he's got a thing for cat balls because he feels so many people have falsely manipulated them. And you can, if you really wanted to, you know, you could hook strings up and you can do all sorts of stuff. Anybody can do that stuff, right? To manipulate a cat ball. But if you use them properly, whether you can't have anything influence it that shouldn't be, I think they're an awesome tool. I like them.
And he's a good guy. We like him. He's funny. He was on our show. So, you know, it's not,
I actually built a portal.
Same. That's what this is.
So I built ours, and keeping it powered with the 2 9-volts I had a little issue with. Still, I'm trying to refine that, but you know, plugging it into regular power works fine, but I'm still fine tuning on how to get it to work the best way, because I just there's no instruction packet. You're just like, I'm gonna build it and go for it, right? So one of our kids is kind of poking around. It'll happen. How long did it take you to really tune in to really get the portal to work how you wanted it to? Was it pretty quick?
It was pretty quick for us. We were at the portal house, and that place is always producing. Really, that place is very active pretty much all the time. So it didn't really take us too long. I will say, like, packing it in and out of a bag and stuff like that, the knobs move, and like you got to basically redial it every time you get to a location. But it hasn't been too much of an issue to the point I'm like, I don't want to use it, because when you get stuff through it, I love it, dude. crystal
Oh, I love the
clear.
sound of how that comes through, and it's very unique to
Yeah.
those types of devices. I super love it. I'm trying to play with mine some more, but I'm I'm old, so technology is not easy for me.
Yeah.
So SP7, is that kind of like your go-to spirit box?
Yeah, that's the first one I ever bought, and I've had it for 5 years, and it's never failed me. I've only ever
Yeah,
bought one.
yeah, I
But
agree.
what we have.
That's made by a guy named Gary Galka,
Yeah.
who's been showcased on several, Ghost Adventures and stuff like that. But he's got a personal story that's very similar to my wife's personal story about losing a child. So we kind of supported him with that when we bought it, and then we bought some of his other spirit boxes. We've bought the 7 Pro and the 11, which work really good, but they are a little bit more clunky per se as far as like having to fine tune them. So we usually always end up right back with the regular 7. And
Huh.
I've dropped that thing on, from distance.
Yeah,
I've dropped
same.
it in water. Like, it's bulletproof. It will never stop working.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the money. That's good to know though, because I was looking into like the Pro and the SB. I have our buddy Ryan. He's a part of the team, but he has an SB11 we've used a couple of times, and it just seems like the SB7 to me. You know what I mean?
I do like how you can run AM and FM at the same time with the other device, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes that's too much, right? So I always end up going back to the 7. And then the Pro version that we bought has like the little ANC filter on it. And to me, that is the most complicated thing to dial in. It was just easier to not have it.
Huh.
So yeah.
Here's the thing. Do y'all take the antenna off yours or leave it on?
It depends where we're at, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can actually switch them on and off with a switch. So I've never really taken the time to unscrew it and take it off. I just don't turn it on. So most of the time the antenna is turned off. And actually that brings up a question. So watch one of your shorts where you were explaining the REM pod.
Yeah.
And you did not have the antenna on the REM pod.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that was on purpose, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that sparked some interest in me, and we pulled ours out. I had only ever used it with the antenna.
Yeah.
So I took the antenna off and did some stuff with it, and it's like, I like it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
nice,
cool.
dude. And it's one less thing for people to debunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it makes the device harder to go off. So when it goes off, it should be more believable.
Yes.
It's more pinpointed. Yeah, I mean, we were just on a ghost hunt one day, and I just took it off and never put it back on, and we got a few things with it, and I'm like, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, actually, no, let's leave it this way. I like it this way. It's a little more credible, is what I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from now on, that's what I'll, at least the next couple investigations, I'm going to do that and just run it without the antenna and go from there. Because you're right, it does make it less sensitive.
Yeah.
Which is easier to debunk, rule something in or rule something out.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other favorite piece of equipment that you have?
You got one, babe?
I really like the EVP just because there was one moment over at the battlefield and I was running the EVP myself. Usually I just get handed the EMF and say, hey, good luck. And I'm like, oh, great, thanks. But I finally had the EVP in my hand and I had it hanging out of the car window because I was too scared to get out because it was midnight and it scared me. And once Trent taught me how to replay it properly, I was replaying it and I was holding it to my ear. And I was hearing gunshots.
Yeah.
Men screaming, talking about, one of them said something, soldier get down type stuff. And actually hearing that with my own ears with the EVP mind boggles me and like amazes me. So I think that it's such a basic equipment, but honestly, it's gotta be one of my favorite.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
And I do want to say, I think the EVP is probably, it's the most basic tool, but I think it's probably one of the best tools we have still today. I mean, if nobody's talking and you capture somebody talking, what was it? It's like one of the hardest ones that I see, like skeptics always trying to debunk. Oh, it's white noise and this and that. And it's like, it really can't be though. You're just saying that so you sleep better at night.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with that very specific piece of equipment by that name, right? I know what an
Audio
is.
recorder. Audio.
Just a regular audio recorder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad.
Okay.
That's a group thing. We've always called it an EVP.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just a basic audio recorder is.
Is it like fancy,
No.
expensive, or just like a simple digital recorder?
We have a simple digital recorder, and then I actually, I think the first piece of equipment I ever bought was like $15 at a flea market, and we still use it today. And it was just a little audio recorder from the early 2000s, and we've captured crazy stuff on that. And I think if you can genuinely capture and do it properly and capture an EVP, it is one of the best pieces of evidence you can capture, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. We haven't had a whole lot of success at getting like Class A or really good EVPs. We've had stuff that's like questionable, but it's so questionable that we have a hard time putting it out there and saying it for sure that that's what it is.
Ours come mostly just on our static cameras.
Yeah, believe it or not, that happens a lot where we'll just have a set a camera in a hallway, walk away, go do whatever we're doing, right? And then we'll capture stuff on that audio equipment, that microphone.
Yeah.
When we do playback. I don't know if that's happened to you guys.
I have realized in a lot of our investigations, we hear a lot more with just our ears alone without having a spirit box or a voice recorder going on.
Yeah.
And it just sucks in those moments. If we're not recording at that exact moment, we won't capture it. So there's that I've always had a question about that because it's so odd to me.
Yeah, we haven't really got to experience the leaving cameras out. We typically just film with 2 cameras, and it just follows us around. We don't have like a static cam, so we've never really even been put in that position to experience that. But I love EVP so much. That's like I'm constant. We'll sit in the dark for hours and just run EVP and ask the same boring old questions. It's one of those pieces of device I just love to use because when you capture something, it's phenomenal.
And what about the Estes method? Do you guys do the Estes method?
I personally, I think it's cool, but I think a lot of it was crafted for YouTube. Honestly, I think
we've tried it. We've tried it, but it doesn't do anything for me.
The only time that we really put a lot of thought into it, we were at a lake, a local lake, and so Brenda was doing the Estes method. She had the blindfold on, headphones, was listening to the SB7. I was asking questions, but what I did is we have a Zoom recorder, and I took the Zoom recorder and the microphone, and it's just a little headphone type microphone, and put it inside the headphones so we could record what she's hearing. Because a lot of times, you get someone who's like, okay, Estes method, to your point, what you're talking about is they may just be throwing out random stuff. And if it just happens to coincide with the question, this person, whether they can hear them or not, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put that microphone in there. So it's like the audience would be able to hear exactly what she was hearing. And I don't think enough people do that because I'd never seen anyone do that before.
That's brilliant because
that's awesome.
That was one of my issues too. I'm like, how is the audience going to hear what the person in that hearing?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a check and balance, right? So it's like when you go back and put together your content, okay, here's the checks and balance. So she's giving this answer, right, that she heard. Well, the whole audience can hear it because I was recording it the whole time. And then also on the recording, they'll be able to hear whether or not she was hearing me talk. Yeah. So that's the only part of the Estes method that we would ever do again. We would do it that way, which I don't even know if that's a true Estes if we manipulate it like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the Estes thing came with a lot of clairvoyancy and stuff.
Always.
Yeah.
A lot of it was you're going into this trance almost. I've heard guys talk about it you're going to that frequency where they live on, and you're really putting yourself in their shoes. And I don't know. Like I said, we're obviously huge into the stuff, and a lot of it to me just seems very gimmicky. Just run the spirit box.
To go into a trance for me, I think to me that takes a lot of time. That's kind of like when you're doing what did your dad do?
Oh, remote viewing.
Viewing and stuff. You have to go meditate and get into that mind space. And I for one, don't have the patience for it.
in order to do that
But
properly,
it's-
really, truly, and this goes back, remote viewing's been happening since World War II, right? But it goes back to, it takes 2-3 hours of meditation to get into that headspace in order to be that focused and I'm not saying that people can actually connect on that level or go to that frequency, but focus enough to hear things that maybe you wouldn't because it's so hard to hear.
Yeah.
But there are teams that we respect and people that we respect that do that and like it, and get good stuff on it. Maybe that's just, it's meant for them, but it's not meant for everybody else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I agree with that.
What do you guys got coming up? You got anything fun in the works?
Oh, we got a bunch of stuff coming up.
Does it be like, what do you guys having coming up? We're going on an hour and a half right now, so I got to kind of rein this in. What do you guys got coming up? What do you want people to know about you, and how do they find you?
Yeah.
Well, what we got coming up, currently I've got like 10 videos ready to come out, all sorts of places you've definitely heard of, places you haven't. I will say people have been scratched. I've had people threaten to quit the team over one of these videos. Got a lot of good stuff coming up. We're also thinking about starting to do like more videos outside of kind of like the storytelling type stuff. We're going to be doing stuff like that, kind of just get out there more onto all the platforms. And you can find us on every social media. We got Facebook, we got TikTok, we got YouTube, Instagram, all those. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of really good stuff cooking up. I promise you're gonna want to go check us out. It's gonna be crazy here soon.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, so everybody needs to go check them out, watch their stuff, look for their upcoming things. Yeah, man, that was an awesome conversation. It was awesome to talk to both of you. I'm super excited that you have the mindset that you do with this.
Absolutely.
Because, when you start looking at serious teams out there, we're old. We're not that old in the grand scheme of things, but, we want to make sure that people are coming up into this and doing this stuff and going to continue it on. And I'm not saying that you're like a young group, but I mean, you are kind of, right? But you,
No,
we're not
are
deny that at all.
We're young.
But you're also the type of people that the kids out there that are your age or even a little bit younger that are going to watch over some of people like us.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's just different. Like they aren't going to relate to us the same as they're going to relate to you. And I really like how your thought process is, because that's just going to continue to grow the paranormal field in the proper way. So thank you for that, and keep up with it.
No, thank you guys for having us on. You guys
this is amazing.
No clue how honored we feel right now.
We definitely want to do this again with you, and you guys, get some of your new stuff out, and
we'll do a part 2.
We
get your whole crew here. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So thanks everybody for coming and joining and watching today. It was such a good conversation. We went over our time limit. So yeah, guys, go ahead. We're going to put you backstage for a minute, and we're going to wrap this up, and we'll come talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, that was awesome.
Right.
So to all you people that have been worried about the younger groups coming in and being AI
controlled
and the whole 9 yards, we have groups out here that need support. Let's support them. Let's follow them. Give them our old people's advice. Our experienced advice, but these, Breaking the Bell, these guys seem to be very grounded, and I was a little surprised by that.
That was awesome. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, honestly, right? Because there's so many younger people in the industry, like he had mentioned, that are ghost hunters, right? And we came across them. We had this feeling that they were going to be good. They are awesome. They are true investigators. We need to support them and support everybody else.
And they have some really
they've got some
cool
really good evidence on the stuff that they've put out so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing their future things.
Yeah. So and we will keep you posted on anything we have coming up. And I guess that's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap for us. So good night, and until next time.
All right. Toodles.